Okay, I'm gonna start recording and let's start sharing the screen. What is this? I'm missing the. Okay, here we go. And then we're going to share. Can you all see my screen? Yes,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Okay, so where is it? I was just here. So today we're going to be talking about shame, and our goal is to explore and confront and begin to shed the shadows of shame that we carry. So I wanted to ask you all to think of one word or phrase that represents what shame means to you. And you don't need to voice it. If you don't want, you could just share it in the chat. Okay, I'm going to give you a few minutes to share. What does shame mean to you when you feel that emotion? Type it in the chat, folks. Okay, Arlene says that means hiding. Hidalme shared, when you feel shame, you feel small, you want to hide. Shame, shrinking, hiding, shadows. Hi, Rosita.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Good. We started the workshop, and the first question is to put in the chat, what does the word shame mean to you?
Okay.
What does that word represent to you? Diana shared that shame, all of the above. That Idanme shared the shrinking, the hiding. Anyone else? Lila, I don't see your response, or Eddie. Eleni says unworthiness. Eddie says silence as well. Okay. So shame is a powerful emotion. It can make you feel unworthy, which is some of the things that you all shared, unworthy and flawed, but it is important to differentiate between shame and guilt. While guilt is about feeling bad for actions we've taken, shame is about feeling bad about who we are. Rosita shared that shame is embarrassing, wanting to hide from those around her, questioning who she is or what she has done, right? So how does shame affect us emotionally and psychologically? Can you all think of a moment when shame impacted your behavior or your thoughts? You could take 5 minutes to write that down. And if you wish to share, do let me know. We ready? Does anyone want to share? Okay. Well, let's do a meditation exercise, okay? I want you all to take a moment to relax and visualize, close your eyes and take a deep breath. Imagine your shame as a tangible object. What does it look like? What does it feel like to hold this object? Now, visualize a stream of water gently washing over this object, rinsing away the layers of shame. Feel the weight lifting off your shoulders. Take a few moments to immerse yourself in this visualization. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay, let's move on. So, how does shame affect us emotionally and psychologically? Shame is complex and deeply ingrained emotion that can have profound effects on both our emotional and psychological well-being. Understanding these effects is crucial for recognizing how shame influences our lives and how we can begin to address and heal from it. So, here are some emotional effects of shame: low self esteem. Shame can often make us feel unworthy and inadequate, leading to a diminished sense of self worth. We may believe that we are fundamentally flawed, which erodes our confidence and self esteem. Shame can create a constant fear of being exposed or judged by others. This fear can lead to social anxiety and avoidance of situations where we might feel vulnerable. Because shame makes us feel unlovable, we may withdraw from others to protect ourselves from potential rejection or criticism. This withdrawal can lead to feelings of isolation and loneliness. Sometimes shame can manifest as anger, either directed at ourselves or at others. We might resent those who we believe have caused or contributed to our feelings of shame. Prolonged feelings of shame can contribute to depression. The persistent belief that we are not good enough can lead to a pervasive sense of hopelessness and sadness. In the comments, Rosita has shared that there's a book called The Shame Machine by Kathy O'Neill that she recommends. Psychological effects of shame. Shame often fuels a harsh inner critic, resulting in negative self-talk. We may constantly berate ourselves for our perceived flaws and mistakes, reinforcing our sense of inadequacy. To counteract feelings of shame, some individuals strive for perfection, believing that if they can just be flawless, they will be accepted and loved. This relentless pursuit of perfection is exhausting and unattainable, often leading to further shame when perfection is not achieved. Shame can hinder our ability to form and maintain healthy relationships. Fear of rejection or judgment can prevent us from being open and authentic with others, leading to superficial connections and unfulfilled relationships. To escape the painful feelings associated with shame, we might avoid tasks or situations that trigger these emotions. This avoidance can lead to procrastination and a cycle of self-sabotage, reinforcing the shame we feel. Over time, shame can become internalized, shaping our core beliefs about ourselves. We may come to see ourselves as inherently flawed or unworthy, which can influence our decisions and behaviors in negative ways. So, understanding the emotional and psychological impact of shame is the first step toward healing. Writing, like we are doing in this workshop, can be a powerful tool for exploring and confronting these feelings. By bringing our shame into the open, we can begin to challenge the negative beliefs and patterns it has created. It's also important to seek support from trusted friends, family, or mental health professional. Sharing our experiences with those who can provide empathy and understanding can help us realize that we are not alone in these struggles. So, the first prompt is 15 minutes. I want you to describe a time when you felt ashamed. What were the circumstances? How did you feel physically and emotionally? I'm going to set up a 15-minute timer. Welcome, Eduardo. We are on the first writing prompt of the workshop. 15 minutes. I know some of these writing prompts may be triggering to those, so I'm not gonna ask you to share if you're not comfortable with that. You could just keep these writings to yourself as we go through the workshop. That's for everyone. Okay, so 15 minutes for this prompt. We have 6 more minutes for this prompt. Okay, is anyone willing to share?
I can share not much of my writings, but I think of what came up, which was really interesting.
Go ahead.
Um, Perhaps like for me, I've been doing the work of befriending my shame for a couple of years now, but this prompt actually like como que me sentó de un pronto, where it's like, oh look, there's still a lot of things going on, and like a relapse of like from when I was a child, from the first time I felt shame to like now as an adult and a mother. And like from a child, the early memories are like shame around my body, around like not being cool enough, like I thought the other kids were. So me always doing things trying to fit in, but then coming back home, like realizing, oh girl, you actually like being a nerd and you're not what you're pretending to be outside of here. So dealing with that at home, right? And then growing up, it's like what I realized impacted me the most was not the shame I felt on me, but more of the shame that was being passed down onto me.
Okay.
Because there's been a lot of shame. I'm very open, but like my family members feel shame for me that I think they want me to feel as well. So it's like that has impacted me more. Whereas like I wrote something about I felt ashamed for the shame mommy or my family members placed on me. So it's like a double shame dance there that gave me a lot of interesting feelings.
Got it.
And knowing that it still lingers, shame still lingers. And it takes a lot of courage to really like sit with it and look at it and be like, you know what? Actually, this is me.
Okay. All right. So this was sort of like, um, how do I say this? Investigative, sort of like while you were writing, all this other stuff came up for you.
Yeah, because you do the work and you're like, oh, I healed from that. This is cool. And then it's
Right.
like, oh shit. Actually, I'm
Okay.
going through this right now.
Thank you, Arlenis. Does anyone else want to share?
I'll go. So I feel like, well, one, when you were talking about like the impact of shame, that
Mm-hmm.
was eye-opening because I didn't realize how pervasive it was,
Yes.
like all the ways that it affects you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started writing about the shame that I have felt throughout the years about different things. And then similar to Arlenis, I could hear voices of certain statements of things that were said to me. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. Of things that were said to me that like made me feel shame for myself. You know what I mean? And a lot of it does come externally.
Yeah.
And then when you hear it continuously, especially I feel like as a woman in our culture, there is in some ways a lot of just scrutiny that you feel about how you need to behave and look, all these things. And so like I really just started kind of writing it all down. But it's interesting because then I've also been doing my own work. And when you did the meditation and you were like, imagine shame as an object and then imagine it under a waterfall, what came to me was an anvil. Like that's what I imagine as shame, an anvil. And then I was like in the meditation, I literally dropped it and walked away because it's not my shame to carry, right? And I think that like that's the work that I've been doing, but it's been interesting in writing this down and in reflecting about the way that shame affects you, just about how pervasive it is, right? And all the ways that you're carrying it and you don't even know. So that really was what stood out to me.
Got it. Thank you, Danny. Anyone else want
I'll
to
take it.
share?
I'll take it.
Go ahead, Josita.
Do you hear me? Okay. So, and I started, this is what I wrote. Al principio. I felt shame when my whole kindergarten class yelled at something I said. I had no idea that what I had to say was shameful. I felt hurt. I felt isolated, alienated. I said my mother did not wear panties, and hell broke loose. I was made to feel like I was the only one whose mother did not wear panties. Now, what prompted me to say such a thing? I thought it was such a magnificent thing that my mother would just spread her legs over the edges of the water duct coming from lavatea as she washed clothes by hand. That is how I knew she didn't wear panties. How could she pee standing over the drain? I am sure many of those kids had seen their mothers in the rough, but I was the only one to speak on it, and she was not in the rough. I thought it was fascinating because all things bodily were awesome to me. Now, why didn't I talk about the struggle my mother had to make me put on my panties in the mornings? I couldn't say a thing after all that noise that deafened my ears. I would not trust myself after that. How could I have misjudged this group so erringly? They were all my age. They were all girls. I was sure they would understand. Why say it so publicly? Because privacy and discretion were not things that were taught at home. Because I never knew that was a no-no. After all, my mother peed over the running water with such ease. She showed no shame about it. She made no effort to hide what she was doing. She just peed. I also did not speak about how every night at bedtime, my mother would have us remove our panties before climbing onto the bed. So in the morning, I woke up without panties and I was in no hurry to put them on. I walked and played around without them in spite of my mother's pleas for me to put on my underwear. Many years later, one of my sisters and I were commenting upon that. Neither one of us understood the reason for that. I still do not know. All I can think of is that vaginas need a little bit of fresh air. I am sorry for my kindergarten class who shut me down and never heard what else I might have said. I am sorry I never got to hear the home experiences of my classmates. And that brings me to my writing, which I haven't been doing too much of it lately. And I've done a lot of soul searching about that. What I've come up with is that I have some difficult memories to write upon, and some of them include shame. There.
Thank you, Rosita. Thank you for sharing. Okay, folks, let's move on to the next writing prompt about confronting shame. Here, you're going to write a letter to the source of your shame. This could be a person, an event, or even to yourself, expressing your feelings and thoughts openly. We're going to do another 15 minutes for this writing prompt. Okay, folks. So I'm not going to ask you to share the letter, but we're going to move into writing prompt 3, which is 15 minutes as well. And it's imagine that your shame is something you can wash away. Write a story or a poem about cleansing yourself from the shame. How does it feel to be free of it? 15 minutes starting now. Okay. So that was the last of the prompt. And I want to take some time to talk about how you all felt with these prompts. What came up for you? And feel free also to share anything you wrote. Okay. Oh, Eduardo left. Any thoughts, comments? Anyone want to share what they wrote?
It was beautiful for me. I don't know. I think the prompts really invited me to, como, how do I explain it? Like, not be consumed by the topic of shame and my own shame, but to like actually, it gave me an invitation to see how far I've come and how beautiful it is to actually learn to um feel it and not allow it to like bring you into this hole of not being proud or like or being shamed of your shame. You know, it was more of like for me what the prompts did was highlight certain things that in my current life right now I thought that were like buried, and it's like no, you know, you're still working on these things. It's a beautiful thing that you can now use your tools, you know, and writing is always the best way to, I think, como mirarlo de afuera y no entrarte adentro de él. So I think it gave me, I don't know, I want to share this little funny, it's not funny, but I didn't know where the source of my shame came from when I started writing the letter. So I started with, who is the source of my shame? Is it me? Is it God? Is it conditioning or programming that was passed down to me? Is it society? Is it my memories? Well, to whoever it is, to whom it may concern, I am not there anymore. I'll feel you when you linger, but I am way too proud of me to be overwhelmed by you. The most I can do is listen so that I can better redirect, release, and transform you. However, I will not entertain or carry you any longer because you're a damn lie. Therapists and many books say you do this trying to protect me in some way. So I get that that's your job. But it's whack because when you show up, I feel even more weird. So I'm not dealing with that. You thrive when I shrink, hide, and feel unworthy. I thrive when I expand, shine my light without apologies, stand and walk with my head high and aware of my power. This feels peaceful. This feels powerful. I hear you, but I'm not going to deal with you. I'm not going to carry you. That's what I had.
Okay. Thank you, Arlene. Anyone else?
I can share what I wrote.
Go on, Elaine.
Or not the letter, but the last prompt
Okay.
about letting go of the shame. It's early morning, the sun is slowly beginning to rise, and with it a new day, a new me. I'm at the edge of a beach, green waves that now look darker because of the lack of sunlight, foaming to white once they hit the shore. No one else is there. No one else matters. I'm fully clothed. I slowly remove my clothes, the sandals, clear and rubbery, the shawl, a tropical scene of green. Slowly, I remove my two-piece, suddenly aware of the vulnerability of the nakedness I will be exhibiting, but remembering no one else is there. I am alone. I can be myself, and I feel the giddy excitement of a little girl doing something they've wanted to do their whole life. Now I can't wait to take my bikini off and to rush into the waves and become one with them. I do it hurriedly, freeing my breath from their prison, releasing the tightness, tripping over my panties in excitement. A naked body, hanging breast, and pubic hair. I run to the waves, desperately hungry, and I feel the cool that the waves have accumulated overnight. I sink under and out, wanting to completely immerse myself in the water, letting it into every part of me. I am her, she is me. And then I decide to complete our connection. I slowly rise to the surface. I lay out and float, my full body on display for the world to see. swaying to the rhythm of the waves, slowly becoming one with them. I am but another fish, a piece of algae moving to and fro in its natural turf. I finally let go. There is no past, no future, no fear, no shame, only me. And that's it.
Thank you.
That is beautiful.
Ivani. Yes, I agree. Anyone else wants to share?
Well, I couldn't wash away my shame.
All right. It's rinsing it, trying to get rid of it. You know, that's gonna take some time, some
At
healing.
least understanding it.
Yeah, you have to understand, you know, what's going on, and then confront it and then work on it, right?
Okay. So I started with very heady stuff. I could say a Lady Macbeth speech like, out, damn spot, out, I say. That was her famous speech in William Shakespeare's Macbeth, Act 5, Scene 1. Or I could be a lot gentler. After all, I've done nothing so severe as kill another human being, and all animal killings I have left to the butcher before I consume them. That is more like my shame. I eat dead flesh. I deprive all those sentient beings from their right to exist, and I eat them. Shame on me, taking advantage of animal vulnerability and their love before I pay for their slaughter. How can I wash myself of that shame? I live with it every day or every few days. I am grateful for days when I consume only live plant sources. But who's to tell that plants have no feelings? Just because we don't hear them cry doesn't mean they don't cry. Studies have been made that measure a plant's stress when their offspring is moved. Who the hell made the system where my survival demands my destruction of other human beings? Right, I left it off there.
Thank you, Rosita.
I'm so in it, I can't get rid of it.
Anyone else? No? Okay, folks, this concludes our writing workshop for today. Thank you for joining, and I will hopefully see you next Sunday. Okay?
Thank you, Angie. This was amazing.
Enjoy
Oh,
the
this
workshop
was
at home.
Thank you.
huge. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And
Enjoy.
don't forget, you can save the chat by clicking on those three dots at the very, very bottom of your chat.
Thank you, Rosita.
See ya. Thank you
Bye,
again.
folks.
Bye.